What's going on, everyone? My name is Miles. Welcome back to another Apex Legends video. In today's video, I wanted to give you guys an in-depth guide of the R-99, and this is going to be pretty short and simple because the R-99 is not a very complex weapon. And I'll go ahead and show you a lot of misconceptions with the R-99. People think that the barrel stabilizer and stock have such a big impact on the gun, and it really does not. I'm going to show you right now. This is without a barrel stabilizer and without a stock. Now here is the same clip with a barrel stabilizer level 4 and a level 3 stock. As you guys can see in the recoil patterns, they are very similar. The only difference is the level 3 barrel stabilizer does not go as far up on the recoil pattern, but they are still very, very similar. And so now I'm going to show you another clip at the same distance of me using one with a level 4 barrel stabilizer and a level 3 stock, and then one using no attachments at all other than the light magazine and the digital threat. So as you guys can see right here, this is me pulling down, and that's how accurate that is. And then if I take those attachments off and I proceed with the same process, very accurate shots as well. You can see a few shots kind of got away from me, but for the most part they are very accurate and pretty much are going to give you the same effect on both. So it's a very simple method and technique. All you do is shoot and just barely pull down on your mouse, just ever so slightly. This is something you can just practice in training or the firing range, and eventually you're going to get used to the muscle memory of how much to pull down, and you're going to know how much you need to pull down each and every time you shoot at someone in order to get that perfect track and that perfect accuracy. Okay, so now that you guys know how the recoil pattern works for the R-99 and you know it's very simple, the next step you're going to want to do in order to master this weapon is just going to the training or firing range mode and practice that pull down method that we showed with the recoil pattern on these moving targets. So I am on keyboard and mouse, so it is simple to just say pull down on your mouse, but if you are on the PlayStation 4 controller or the Xbox One controller, all you would do is just ever so slightly pull down on your right analog stick to have the same effect here. So if I don't pull down whatsoever, you'll see what happens. It just kind of goes all the way up in the air. And even if I try to track it, I just lose control of it without pulling down whatsoever. But if you just barely pull down on the target, notice how I hit every single shot. It's a lot more simple to hit these shots as you just barely pull down. And you're going to find yourself hitting a lot more shots in game once you practice this in the firing range and you get that muscle memory down of how much to pull down. So the next thing I want to cover with the R-99 are the correct opticals that you should be using for this weapon. Now my favorite opticals are the 1X HCOG, the digital threat, the 1X hollow, and the 2X. Now, I know what you're thinking, well, that's pretty much all of them, and that's true, but I would not really recommend the 1 to 2X. It's just a weird optical zoom, and you are going to get a little bit confused as far as the tracking goes. You may be wondering why not the digital threat in front of the HCOG. It's all a preference thing. I absolutely love the digital threat on the R-99, but for some reason, I just find myself a lot more comfortable with the 1X HCOG. But at the end of the day, just do what's most comfortable for you. Now once you find the optical that you feel most comfortable with, I recommend going into the training mode or the firing range once again and practice on these moving targets as they move, and also on targets that are far away. For instance, these dummies, you can shoot at them from a distance instead of close up like this, because obviously anyone can hit shots like that. But the best way to practice this pull down method with your favorite optical sight is to practice on a target that is pretty far away and learn how to pull down as well. This is going to allow you to learn how to hit shots from a far distance rather than just medium range like we all know and love. So the last and final tip I want to give you guys for the R-99 is knowing what ranges to use the hip fire and what ranges to use the ADS. Now if you're at a range like this, you're obviously going to want to use the ADS method over and over just because it's going to be very simple. But if you're at a range like this, I like to use the ADS method as well, but then sometimes I also find myself using the hip fire method just because it allows you to strafe a little bit faster, and it's also super accurate. Notice how I just hit every shot right there. It's just because the hip fire mechanic in Apex Legends is extremely accurate even at this distance. Right here I'm doing 200 damage while hip firing, so don't underestimate the hip fire power. So ranges that you should absolutely be using the hipfire is at a range I would say like this. You should always be using the hipfire here just because it's going to allow you to strafe faster, which is going to allow you to dodge more shots in the long run, but then it's also going to give you more control of your aiming rather than having to flick your mouse even further or move your analog stick even more. It's going to allow you to make those micro movements and still hit your shots a lot easier. For instance, tracking this target while hip firing is using about half of the distance on my mouse pad rather than ADSing and tracking the same target. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know you may be thinking, well, this video is pretty short and pretty simple. Well, that's because the R-99 is a very simple weapon. All it takes is a lot of practice. There's no feeling like one clipping someone with the R-99, as you can see in these clips here. And so I really challenge you guys to take these tips that you've learned today and practice them and apply them in every single one of your games. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. And if you guys want to see more Apex Legends daily videos like this, make sure to comment the suggestion of what you want to see me post next. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a great night. Peace.